Welcome to CathyDslayt's website and her SRC4U software Zoom call. To access the Zoom call, you will click here and remember this password. Do you want to allow the page to open? We're going to allow. The password. Join. And we'll wait for Cathy to open the room. She'll be with us momentarily. Cathy has opened up her room. Activate.
Good morning. Yeah, it's 10:01. Okay, so I just wanted to show you something real quickly. And that is, over the weekend, I've got a blog post for going into manifestation. We need to, one thing, as it says in the Grabavoy code, dispel the glamour of sense illusions. We've got three aspects to our creation. The first is the body. The body has to be in good shape. But as far as our five senses, we're only seeing at the most 4% of what's going on. It used to be 0.1. I've read it maybe as much as 4. So what happened over the weekend, you can see we literally have gone all weekend with this code, dispel the glamour of sense illusions. And so we'll just let that go and continue and see how long it goes. Also, this Mondays, I like to go in and do this long list of Grabavoy. And what I'm going to do, I've been kind of guided not to put this list back in the Visionary Spa Academy. So each of you that's on the Zoom call or anyone that requests it, I'm going to send. But I'm going to automatically send it out after our call. And then if you don't want it, just delete it. But let's go and look at perhaps some of the things for our core this week. We've got stress related to an amoeba or amoebas, and I did pull up a new and I want to show you. This is for our sustenance balancer. Let me just show you real quick here. All these points here, I went in and got cocktails for, and you know how easy that is to do. Just go up to the right hand corner. Except for the meridians, we're going to do that with the recharger. But what I found interesting, we mentioned neck twice. So just as a quick example, again, just go to load cocktails. And I have a separate section, you may not. And just see what comes up and just put it in here. And then you've got a choice of some various cocktails, and there's quite a few things in here. That's about the best way to get to them. But anyway, so we've got stress related to an amoeba. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, that looks like this code just by itself is going to be sufficient. Stress related to a blood clot. We don't want to fool with that, obviously. And again, this is the group, and this is all coming from the etheric field. And that really is the whole deal, is to be proactive. We're working with our blueprint, and these may be things that have not manifested on a physical plane, and we'd like to clear that stress now, which is what you can do with software. And do this any way you want, but what I do is I look just if this code is going to do it on its own. Diminished chi. What I've been doing for anyone, including the group, is I go down this list, all the zeros for sure, and then past that, I just kind of scan through and see if there's anything else I'll show you how you can deal with that. We want to get our equilibrium back if it's out of kilter.
It's interesting. You got blood up there under number 2, and then down there on number 24, it's dissolved blood clot.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I've been doing is, after we go through, I'll show you a couple of thoughts. Then I do put the whole list up to 1,000 in, and then later go back to see if there's any one thing in essence, that is the core, the root source of everything else.
Right.
For example, this forgiveness thing is a big deal. And so we'll see. Let's see how we look with that. Okay, we're looking pretty good. Here's genetic trauma. And we do know that actually genetics, we have so many downloads that it's our environment that kicks off. Many people believe, I seem to believe, that it's the environment is far more significant. And that's what Bruce Lipton said in what was the name of that book? I can't think of it now. But Bruce Lipton's wonderful book.
Is that Power versus Force?
No, that's somebody else. I should know that name by heart. I've got 2 of the same book. And I can't think of it now, but it is a life changer for me. I'll look it up. I'll have to go look. Now this is interesting. Hormone stress leading to overeating. Because we know it's not our fault. So let's look at this. And say that with tongue in cheek. Let's just look and see where we are with that.
I overate watching that YouTube.
What YouTube?
That YouTube that you sent regarding Seattle.
Yes, that, I'll tell you what, that really is an amazing YouTube, and I hope you guys have time to watch it. It's in a post on the energyvisionariesgroup.com, and then hopefully, and this is something, I don't know if I'll get to do it today, but for sure tomorrow, we need perhaps to start balancing our own cities on a regular basis, even just once a week, because this type of thing is creeping, and we've seen it creep. It's gone from, it's coming from the west. It appears. I don't know. This is not something we want to focus on, other than just enough to realize we can do something about it. But yeah, what has happened in some of those cities, San Francisco, I have a friend in San Francisco that keeps me posted, and so on and so forth. Now, this is something that has been coming up a lot, and it's infection in the body due to tooth infection. So you might want to, take a look at your own energy as well. But it's been coming up very regularly. And you see, we've still got some stress there. So here's what, for those who aren't working with the Pro Tools, I'm going to show you another way we can do this. Let's amp that up. Now you're going to have to add this because you're going to repeat this. And then when you do add all of the codes, that'll mean this one is in 3 times, which is sending this kind of energy 3 times is supposedly significant. That's Tesla talked about the power of 3. Of course, also 6 and 9. I'm going to leave the Bible verses out because that's not consistent with everyone's belief pattern, but you'll have this list, and if you want to add this on your own, that's your business. Mental issues. few more zeros down to see there's tooth infection mentioned again. So that, as far as I'm concerned, this is the power of this work, is we have this information and can nip this in the bud. I think all of you on this call know all kinds of ways to nip that in the bud. With that, the teeth, that's a root source cause of many, many illnesses. Modesty. Look at that. I'm surprised at that. Let's just amp it up. You can always, of course, put these in the shin as well. There, that's the last zero, I believe. And again, it's talking about tooth infection. It's like the code is, let's just see if we want the code to it. Nah, doesn't look like at this point. Now, when you get down to over zeros, here's one probably you want to include. Uninstall non-beneficial memory in the water in my body and install memory of highest benefit. So let's go ahead and do that one. It's not a zero, but it's a low number. According to Grandmaster David, the lower the numbers, the closer they are to manifesting on a physical level. Let's clear that. And for the sustenance balancer, we had our themes were water and food consumed today. Now, this is an interesting one. I'm reading this book now. I don't think I can grab it. I don't think I have it. Oh, yes, I do. I've been told hold this up closer, so let me hold it right up here. I was listening to some kind of YouTube with the doctor, and he said the true secret to all this stuff is peptides. So I ordered this book from Amazon. It tested very high. And he's saying that it's all about peptides because that's our signalers in the cells. So as I read this book, I'm adding some codes, and I have to tell you, I'm not sure quite how to explain all this. I'll probably have to read the book a couple times, but we'll just go for now with adding a few codes.
And what's the name of it, Cathy? You held it up, but I didn't see it.
Yes, it is peptide protocols.
Oh
And
my
of course,
God.
I looked on Scribed first, and there just wasn't anything. Most of the work with peptides seems to be related to anti-aging, and that is significant. But nevertheless, let me keep reading. I'm only through chapter 3, and I'm adding things as we go. Let's look at clear negative energy.
Can I share something? Somebody sent me these stem cell patches. I guess I should unmute. Can I share something?
Oh, yes.
Somebody sent me these stem cell patches. And
Yes, I've heard about them.
Oh, you have? Well, I have. They sent me 5 of them, and it says the stem cell patch is made of organic crystals that hold a patented light frequency. The light we emit from our skin activates the patch to elevate GHK-CU copper peptides.
Interesting. Yeah. And I hear a lot about those patches. Just test yourself. Those of you that have the software, just test yourself for benefit, because I know they are of high benefit for some people. So are you using it? Have you put one on yet?
I just found them. She said she sent them to me, but it was in some paperwork, and I just thought that was funny that you mentioned it, and I just got done reading it, and I'm like, oh, I remember that word, peptides.
Yeah, the peptides. It's very interesting. Lots of things out there. Maybe tomorrow, Sharon, you might want to talk with us about the anti-aging product you're working with.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, there's all kinds of things, because that has some fungus in it too. Anyway, as we go down, this vagus nerve is a big deal too, and we're asking for that. That's a 219. Another thing, and I imagine he has some YouTubes, is this guy Jim Donovan, who talks about restoring the vagus nerve. He calls it the vagal tone with various sounds. He's interesting. And it sometimes, if you find someone who just, whatever's going on with them, you can't clear it, that might be an answer, that vagus nerve. Now, this is an interesting one. Clear, destructive childhood stories. And again, this is lurking probably way beneath our conscious mind. And here, this is interesting. And what happens here, when you, on Mondays, if you choose that day, I chose this day to do this long scan, anything in the initial clearing that we do other days will be in here. And one thing I had added the other day is new start. And we are asking for that. Really, every day is a new start. And I'll show you that new list. It keeps growing tomorrow, and a way you can work with it a little quicker. Car protection, let's go ahead.
I should have ran that one last night. Our new car won't start this morning.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
I know.
That's no clue as to why.
It sounds like it could be the battery or something like that. I mean, it just is, just makes this little clicking noise or whatever. I mean, it's dead.
And look at this. Look at this number for car protection. Very low. So we'll do, add it. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, really.
So the scan may have picked up that someone in the group was having that issue. It's hard to know.
It is. We tried to push it out of the way. You can't even push it. I mean, it's really weird.
Oh my gosh. So what we're going to do is get this loaded up here. The Biology of Belief. That's Bruce Lipton's book. I knew it would come to me at some point. The Biology of Belief. Lipton is the one that had been so convinced there was no God, and that, he was doing work for the Human Genome Project, and it was at that point, during his work, you're probably all familiar with this already, discovered, that we're like little spaceship voyagers that are picking up codes from outside ourselves. It's a fascinating book. And again, I'm just picking some of these just for our own awareness. We're going to add all of them for the full scan. This is an interesting one. Help ourselves and help humanity in doing so, because in all the shapes stuff we're doing, it seems one of the most powerful shapes is a dot, and that would be you, an individual. So it's fascinating when you think about that. The power just one person has, they improve probably their own thought patterns would come first. And then this soul imagination, if you consider what Neville says, it puts a whole dimension on it, that our soul is our imagination and that we are equipped to bring what we imagine into fruition. We're actually doing it all the time. It's just that what we're imagining may not be exactly what we really want. Where we are with that. And I like this one. I am designed to thrive in any environment. How about permanently prosperous? Turning adversity into good fortune. And again, just, they're all going to go in here, but it's kind of interesting just to pick a few. Now you see, as we like this one, universal current operates through me. Any and all dark and negative energy here or around my family, I now command it to leave. The more this kind of work you do, the more you realize there is some lower vibratory energy out there that isn't serving any positive purpose that I can figure out anyway. So they say everything does have a positive purpose at the core. Now we've got, this comes up, for example, cancer. This is coming from the etheric field. Cancer can mean many things. Let's go ahead and clear it.
It's interesting. It has a number 333.
Oh, boy. Yeah, okay. Huh.
That's kind of interesting.
It is. Yeah, the numbers really, I haven't had time to study numbers like I'd like to, but they say they really tell a story. Let's see what we come up with here. Did I already do it? Remember, the code is a good thing. Okay, so I'm just going to douse that in, and you see the 101. It's going up. 102 is as high as it goes. Some lottery stuff in here. There's a healing teeth. Let's add that since we got lots of markers for teeth. You know, and interesting, I was just reading something the other day that says flossing is actually not good, that it damages our gums. So you might want to check that out for yourself. And almost everything we've been taught is not, which you aren't wondering about.
Isn't that frustrating?
It's very interesting, but what happens, I think, that we're in a time of awareness where, you know, we've got so much information available.
Right.
That if you choose, then you can look it up for yourself, and you learn you can't really, you gotta look for yourself.
Right.
You can't depend on information. Let's see, we're asking here, for example, for vitamins for cancer. That doesn't mean we have cancer, but we're certainly being proactive. Moving out of fear-based reality. And, you know, if something inspires fear, then I just don't think it's from the light. I think it has to be turned around. Because that, you know, totally lowers your own vibrational fear. And you see, we've got a little stress there, don't we? So let's see what we need to do. Now, our awareness clears about 80% of that, but this is also subtle. That's the reason for wanting to get this balancing on a regular basis. Blessings one isn't too bad. Let's do that. We've been coming up several times with good credit score, so this is another thing, this heavy metal toxicity. That's been coming up on a regular basis. It might be time to look in and see what needs to be done over and above this energy work to clear that. Because it makes us little antennas, which perhaps we don't want to be antennas for certain things. Astral negativity, glands.
That's interesting you brought up the antenna part, because I had an upset stomach last week, and I took some baking soda thinking that would calm it down. Nothing was helping, even ginger. So I drank a whole tablespoon of activated charcoal and went to bed.
Yes.
And that calmed it right down, but it also made me, I was more like alert, and it whatever it cleared out, I was like more on mark in the morning after that.
That activated charcoal at bedtime every now and then, and again, you can test yourself. By the way, we just added glands to the personal options. But yeah, that really can clear that kind of stress, and maybe that's the answer. Let's just look for fun. And again, this is for the group. Maybe something as simple as that. And again, this is the group, just for the heck of it. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, that's a thought. Look at that. That's a high resonance. So we might want to consider that. So let's quickly go down the rest of these because we're running out of time. And so far, I've only seen one code come up from the peptide book. How about this? Bring more divine love to the collective, and we do that. And also, one of these days, we should mention Ho'oponopono. Do any of you do that? The Ho'oponopono?
Yes.
Very powerful.
I do it sometimes.
Yes, sometimes.
Yeah, you figure anything negative that comes into your life on a quantum level, somehow we had a part in it. And so, yeah, that's beneficial. They were asking for some vagus nerve, some tooth rebuild, utilize more mechanisms to manage stress. I got that out of the peptide book, where he explains also it's not the stress. We need stress. It's that then we have to manage the stress. And on a very cellular level, when the peptides are not operating as they should, the way he puts it, the cells make bad decisions. So let's do this real quick. Again, but see, that goes up to the 101. Now let's just go ahead on down to 1,000. Okay, so we want to preserve these options. We want to start actually with manual control. So got to put a theme in here. So let's put all that stuff to root source cause, manual. And then, of course, go back and get our Gong. We can just go ahead and then this would be an example. I don't stress the charger enough, but off and on during the day, it's really not a big deal to go in. Let's do the right block. There's plenty of codes in here. This is going to take a while to amp up, though. This is one of these that we may not get to show you, but anyway, back and forth with that. So with that in mind, anything to add, you guys?
When do you hit preserve options?
What I'll do is when the manual finishes, and we're going to go 6 minutes, 34 times, and then when that finishes, then I do preserve options. Now, I like to test, and what we wanted to actually start with is manual controls. Dr. Kersey is the one that pointed out to me I wasn't really using that, and he's like, wow, is that ever powerful? And I'm hoping that he'll start joining us once in a while on these calls. And so, yeah, that's what I will do personally. I'll do first the manual, and when that finishes, and sometimes the manual goes, hours and hours and hours. This one isn't too long. Then I'll do preserve options. We've got something in here, I don't know what it is, that we're taking a real focus of energy on. And then in between today and tomorrow, I'll go down this list and see what our root source is, and that'll be in the mastery.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Cathy.
Okay,
Alrighty, thank you. Bye-bye.
Concludes Cathy's demonstration on the SRC4U software Zoom call. We'll see you next time. Till then, take care and be well.